Welcome back to Steppers. It has been a hot minute since we have had one of these episodes go out, and we are so excited this week. Hailing from the UK, a country rock superstar who we had the privilege of getting to see performing live at the Southern Roots launch party a few short weeks ago, we are bringing in the lovely Nat Hills this week.
Hooray!
Yay! Welcome in, Nat.
Superstar, love that.
Oh, we love it.
You are.
You are. You absolutely rocked that show.
Oh, don't.
So much
Stop
fun.
It. Stop it.
So much fun. So we'll jump straight into a couple of questions and then see where we end up. We never know on this
Yeah.
crazy board.
We get sidetracked quite eeasily.
Yeah, it's the ADHD, but we're not mad about it.
That's fine. That's all of us in the room then, so that's fine. This will be interesting.
So, obviously, in the introduction, I said that your sound is quite kind of country rock, but you do lots and lots of different things. So, how would you describe your sound to someone who's not heard you before?
So, I would say I'm a literal thinker. So, for me, when I say country rock, I quite literally mean it's like a classic rock sound, but with a modern country twist. That's how, whenever I go in to like a producer, that's what I say to them. I want it to be like classic 80s nostalgic rock, but with a modern country twist. So for me, I am in the country bracket because I'm a storyteller. And it is all about the lyrics for me. I actually, just before I came on here, I just wrote a chorus and sent it over to another UK artist. We literally just decided to do a song together, and this song just kind of like come into my head, and I was like, oh, I've got to get it out before I go on to this podcast. So it's going around in my head at the minute. But yeah, that's how I would describe it. It's quite literally, I think, a very rocky sound, but it's got your country influences in it in terms of like the types of instruments that we put in and the storytelling aspect of things. But I'm also kind of somebody where I don't think I'm gonna be, I'm not necessarily like tied to a sound. So like one of the songs that I've already had released, that was a duet that I did with Dan Jones, that was more of like a Patsy Cline style song, you know. And actually the one that I've currently got in production at the moment, it's so different to any of the other stuff that I've done. So you kind of like expect the unexpected from me, really.
Yeah,
you never know what you're going to get.
Love that. And I'm excited to hear this new one now. I'm like,
I know, yeah, I was just
what's
thinking
going to be different? It's so exciting.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm working with a different producer, and so I basically went in with my acoustic guitar, my melody and my song, and then I have this, I believe that songs basically have their own like identity. So when they like just drop out of the ethers, like this one that I just wrote a chorus for, when they drop out, they already know like how they're going to sound. And so I just think like I just have to trust the process of whatever it is. So I left this producer to kind of come up with a backing track, and I had no preconceived ideas of what it was going to be. And when I went in and I sat and listened to it, it was just so different. It's a lot more, there's a lot of like synthesizer noises in it. It's quite, I don't know if you've heard Miley Cyrus's latest album, Something Beautiful, but it's like a very like conceptual album, and there's a lot of like preludes and interludes and stuff on it. And for me, he'd never even heard that album, but when it first started playing, that's what it put me in mind of. Kind of like, I don't know, synthy, ethereal kind of sound, and then it kind of gets into more like country drum beats. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it like fully turns out. But yeah,
no, that sounds great, to be fair. I have a quick question. So Dom was actually telling me about the story of how you learned to play guitar. that
Oh, yeah.
basically someone sort of insulted you, I think, and
Yeah.
then you're like, I'm going to prove you wrong, and then learn how to play guitar so fast, and obviously smashing it. And the question sort of relates to that a bit, is like, is there another instrument that you're thinking about learning, or if you want to like have that sort of introduced into any of your songs?
Well, funnily enough, the song that I was just talking about, I actually played my guitar on the track, which was really cool, because that's the first time that I've got to play my guitar. The guy that's producing it is also, well, he used to teach guitar. So he kind of said to me at the time, like, right, I'm going to leave some space because I want you to play guitar on it. Like, and he was like, have you ever played electric guitar? And I said, no. And he was like, okay, well, you're going to play electric guitar as well. Like, we're going to push you to kind of like do these things. I have got a harmonica that I'm literally staring at now. I find that harder than the guitar.
Yeah.
I reckon that we all probably just have like certain things that we just have like a natural ability to do. And guitar, weirdly, was just like one of those things, but also I was just like crazy determined to learn it. But I actually want to learn everything. So there's a woman on TikTok, and I wish I could remember her name so people could look her up. But she's an independent artist, and I think she's more like alternative pop music. Anyway, she has taught herself how to play every instrument, so bass, electric, drums.
Wow.
And also to produce her own tracks. And you don't realize like how much work and dedication that takes. And I think she's an absolute icon for doing that. So that really inspired me. The next instrument for me is going to be the bass guitar, because I love bass guitar.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that once you can play acoustic guitar, you can play electric, because I think the strings are softer, so it's like easier to play it. And I love doing like riffs and stuff like that. I like kind of like training my brain to like remember stuff like that. So definitely that. And then I'd love to also learn drums and an omnichord. Okay. I've seen this recently on TikTok, and now I want an omnichord.
I'm just envisioning your house like filling up with like
instruments. I've got a tiny 2-bed bungalow as well, and my little girl is 10, and she loves like making music and stuff. Like she's got like an app that she was learning how to like read music on. And we've got a little list of we've got like a little list of like stuff that we'd need for a home studio, because I was like, we don't have to like tell Daddy, but we could turn our lounge. That'd be really good if we like did that. So but Dave plays he plays guitar anyway. He doesn't play guitar, but he plays guitar, if that makes sense. He's not bothered by it, but he can play guitar. So I always used to joke when I was pregnant that I'd love us to have like a little family band. Like, you play guitar. This little girl, when she's born, she's going to play drums, and then like I'll sing. But no, I think now it would be I would sing and play guitar. Dave would play guitar if he could be bothered, and Aoife would just produce the music. It'd just be me. I am the family band.
I love that it's so like you're in cahoots as well. Like, hey, Dad doesn't need to know. We can do this. Like, girls have got this. Love it.
Oh yeah.
So is there an artist, either past or present, that you would dream of that you could record with or duet with?
Yeah. So I always tell this story of like my first ever like musical inspiration, where I actually become obsessed with music, was John Lennon. So I was heartbroken when my mum told me that he had actually died before I was even born. And I actually think that that's the reason that I ended up, I always had this thing where I wanted to perform, but I never wanted to be famous, because of how he died. That kind of just like as a kid like cemented in my mind. So I think that's why it's taken me so long to get to a stage where I'm like, oh, actually I can do these things now. So I would love to write something with John Lennon because I love everything that he stands for, and yeah, you know, like standing for the working class hero, and just like, you know, understanding that we don't have to be like at war with each other all the time, you know, like peace and love. Like, I'm a hippie at heart. Like, I would love to record something with him. But in terms of like present people, this is really embarrassing to actually admit, but I have on 2 occasions now got, maybe I'd had a couple of wines, and I just got really excited, and I've sent like DMs to country artists in the US where I'm like, hey, like, how do we work on a song together? Like, I would really like to do that. One of them was Bailey Zimmerman,
Love
because
him.
I think we would make a great track together, because that's my kind of sound, like that grittier kind of side of things. And I love him as well. I love how much he loves his mum, and he's just so humble. Like, I think that's really great. And the most recent one that I did that with was Jodie Messina, because
Icon.
yeah, she's an icon. So yeah, if they ever hear this or ever actually see their DMs, you know, I have sent a message that if you do want to work with me, that would be amazing. But there's so many people that I would genuinely, like Chris Stapleton, like, oh my god, like I would love to work with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, just such a talent. But also, to be honest with you, there's a lot of like independent artists that I would like to work with, and I'm constantly kind of like putting myself out there and saying to people like, hey, let's work on something together, because I very much somebody that believes in like collaboration. I think that it's better for us all to kind of work together and rise together, rather than be like pitted against each other and kind of competing. That was actually the initial idea when I first decided I was going to make like an EP. My original idea was that I wanted every song to be a collaboration with a different UK independent artist, but it's really hard to like tie people down. And then it ended up just being that I found Dan, and then we did that duet together, and then obviously everything else has just been by myself. But I am working on things with other independent artists, like male and female.
Love that
as well. I just think it's important.
Yeah. Well, look at Alexandra Kay and Jelly Roll. Like, AK was independent, and she was unsigned for how long, and then she goes out off and opens for Jelly Roll on tour. She's signed now. She's got her record label and all that. But it was amazing to watch her journey through, you know, just singing on TikTok, and then like coming up through the ranks, I guess. But I love her. I'm obsessed with her.
It's so funny, isn't it? Like, I had this conversation yesterday. I did a podcast yesterday, and the guy, his podcast, his background is in marketing. So he was talking about kind of like the psychology of like building a fan base or like a community, really.
Yeah.
And he was saying like people just love to, I can't think who it was. Olivia Dean. We were talking about Olivia Dean.
Oh yeah.
And he was saying about how, you know, where she started, where she was playing gigs with like 3 people that were watching her, and now like look at what she's done, like where she's, you know, solidified her place in like advocating for like mental health and things like that, which is like something that's really close to like my heart as well. I think a lot of people's. But you know, that those 3 people that were there at the beginning, they were so invested, and they feel really proud to be a part of that, like as going along. And that's another reason why I believe in just being like a nice person, because I always just think you never, like, all these people that are there that support you in the beginning, like you can't, pendulum of life means that you can't just have the rise. At some point the shit's going to hit the fan, and there is going to be a fall, and those people are the people that are going to like help you through that. Do you know what I mean? So many people, I think, forget when they get to a place of like significance, I guess, that they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the people that were like supporting them.
Yeah. So just going back to you were saying about the artists that you would sort of would love to collaborate with, really. Do you reckon that he's also who sort of influenced you, or is there another artist that sort of influenced you to go into like making like this your, you know, your thing, like your singing and everything, the country side of it, or is it going to be someone different?
So country it's a really weird thing. Country music has always tried to find me, and I feel like I just wasn't really listening to it. Like when I was little, I remember, I think my granddad would have been the one that was more into country music. I remember there was like this album that my nan and granddad had. It was like Best of Country. She's still got it. I was looking at it the other month.
That's cute.
It was like Best of Country, and it had like all like Jolene and stuff on it. And my favourite song on that was "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
I love that song.
Love that song. I used to just like do-si-do around my nan's lounge to that song. And I was doing like country dancing and stuff in school. And then I just got well into like Spice Girls and boy bands and stuff like that. So, like, you know, and I actually, to a degree, I feel like I almost forgot that country music was a genre, because if you would have asked me when I was growing up what Shania Twain was, I would have said pop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said country. I wouldn't have, or like songs like Sweet Home Alabama and Bad Moon Rising and stuff like that. I would never have said country. I would have said it's rock, or it's like a pub classic. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think and because country wasn't big in the UK, like at all. No. And then I started doing in 2017, about then, I started having sing lessons again. I did musical theatre for a really long time. Like I still dip in and out of it now, but I do musical theatre for a really long time. And musical theatre is a bit of a funny one, like, especially on the amateur theatre circuit. It actually has the ability to destroy your confidence.
Yeah.
Again, I think because it's so competitive, especially for women, and there's a lot of egos, and it can be quite a toxic environment. And my confidence was on the floor, so I decided to go and have singing lessons again, because I wanted to feel good about my voice. I just felt like I hated it. I just didn't like my voice. So I started having these singing lessons, and she got me into a band. She got me an audition for this band. So I started gigging as like a front woman for a couple of like pub bands. There was 2 bands that I was part of at the time. One was a country rock acoustic band, but again, I wouldn't have said it was country. I would have said it was rock. Like that's just how I would have classed it. And then the other one was your kind of typical rock, indie, a bit of everything kind of band. And during that time, I won a trip to Nashville. Wow. I was like part of this like nutritional company thing I always try to forget about, but I won this trip to Nashville. And I remember at the time being in Nashville and walking down the strip and seeing all the girls and how they dressed and how they were, and just feeling like I fitted in. Like I've never felt like I fitted in at home ever. And I remember I kept saying to people, like, I feel like I'm at home here. It was just a really nice, but like really surreal feeling. And then when we did this line dancing class at this like famous barn place, and I'd never line danced in my life, and we was line dancing away, and people were saying to me like, do you do this regularly? And I was like, literally never done it before in my life. And they were like, oh my God, it looks like it's something that like you're always doing. So there was like that little thing that kind of happened. And then a couple of years later, the last gig that I did before COVID hit was with this country rock acoustic band. And there was a man that was watching us the whole time. And this band that I was in, it was a bit of a nightmare, because they were 2 guitarists, and, you know, I love them both dearly, but they had huge egos. And every time we would play any song. Each one of them had to have a separate guitar solo in it, and that they were just massive divas. And it was really stressful to gig with them. So anyway, when our set finished, this guy came over to me and he said to me that he was married to and a manager of a woman that was really well known in the UK country scene at the time. And I wish I could remember who this was. And I did do a Facebook stalk to check that he wasn't lying to me as well. And he was in this woman's profile picture at the time. I can't remember who she was. But he was saying to me, you need to pursue a career in country music. I think you do really well, but you should do it just as yourself. Like, ditch these guys, just go out there and do it as yourself. And he gave me some pointers about how, like, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and he was saying it basically shows, but he said, you've just got the voice for it, you could be in country music. And one of the biggest regrets I ever had was because I'm such a fiercely loyal person, and I felt so uncomfortable that he was having this conversation with me that I never took a business card or took details or anything like that. All I knew was the name he'd given me of his wife that I looked up at the time, because I was just like, I wonder if he was just like lying to me. And then that was it. And then COVID happened, and I was like, I don't actually ever want to perform again. I was like, done. I just, didn't really want to even go out and socialize anymore. And then yeah, one thing kind of like ended up leading to another, and then I came back into the scene as a tribute. I started a Miley Cyrus tribute, and then I just one day got this opportunity to do this country gig, and that was it. It was like from the moment I did that country gig, everything just slotted into place, and then it just snowballed from there. So I do feel like country music has always tried to find me. It's always been these like little kind of nudges of like, you should do this. And I've been like, not really listening. And then all of a sudden when I did it, it was like, oh, I should do this. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Right. Okay. So these people were right all along. So,
that's crazy though, isn't it? How the universe like sends you all these signs, and we're so good at ignoring them. And I talk a lot about like manifesting and stuff, and I'm like, so often we're getting hit in the face by like the most obvious signs that are saying, pointing you in this direction, and then when you take note and you actually do it, things happen, and it all works out.
And they unfold at lightning speed. Like, this is what I always say to people, like, when you're doing the right thing, things will just happen. Like, and if you're not kind of like willing to just go with it, it can be really overwhelming. Like, there are so many times where I sit there, even today, I was like, I feel burnt out. Like, I feel burnt out. And it's because I haven't stopped to take a breath. I've just kept going and going and going and going, because these opportunities just keep coming in and these things keep showing themselves. And I am a big believer of like, you just got to do it. Just go with it. Just say yes. And then like figure it out afterwards, because you never know where it's going to lead.
So you've spoken a little bit about self-confidence and about burnout and toxic cultures within the industries and stuff, but what would you say is your biggest challenge that you've faced in your musical career?
So far, I think that the hardest part is actually being almost like seen. So like, I don't fit the typical mold, I think, of what people expect a female UK country artist to be. I don't fit that typical mold. And so because of that, and because my sound, I think, is very different to anyone else as well, I think it's hard for people to kind of figure out where I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm too country for rock, but I'm too rock for country. Like, where is she supposed to fit? And I think also to a lot of people, it probably feels like I've just come out of nowhere, but it's like I've been here for a long time. It's just that all of a sudden now I'm starting to make a little bit more noise and kind of do things myself. So I think that the hardest part at the moment is almost like finding my people, like finding the right community. I've got a few people that are around me, and obviously like Southern Roots are like a really big support and stuff like that as well. But I feel like I'm still trying to find out where I slot And I think once that happens, more stuff will become clear. But that's definitely, I think, the biggest issue that I face at the moment, not issue, but the biggest challenge that I face at the moment is people like almost like taking me seriously and understanding that like I feel I do have something worthwhile to bring to the table. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just in this because it's popular.
Yeah.
There's been a number of things that have led to this moment. And maybe in like 2 years' time, I'll find myself more so in a different genre. I don't know, because I just let things happen and just go with it. You know? But right now, I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. It's just finding that right support network, I think.
Yeah.
And
no, 100%.
Music.
And I think there's so many artists who are doing crossover genres and who are kind of mixing it up. You know, you've got people like Hardy coming through. You've got people like Bailey Zimmerman. You've got people bringing in that more rock side to country, the more rap side to country. There's so much, but what I've found, and probably what you're coming up against as well, is so many people try and gatekeep. Well, that should sound like this, and if it doesn't, it's not country.
Yeah, it's very elitist.
It's so frustrating. Even in the line dancing community, I do a lot of line dancing, and people are like, well, you can't do that dance to that song. That doesn't work. Or you can't line dance to that song. That's not, you know, like you'll be me up on the dance floor doing Nickelback, and people be like, you can't line dance to Burn It to the Ground. I'm like, watch me. You know?
Yeah.
And people are so protective of something. And I always say, like, surely if the community's growing and we're getting different things happening, then it's good for everybody, other than trying to get the ticket sales, like, for the artists.
Yeah, it's a little bit like the whole argument with Beyonce, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you know, ultimately, she's not a country artist. And we can get into the whole kind of like, should that album have won over somebody like Chris Stapleton? I don't, you know, my personal opinion, I feel like it probably should have gone to somebody like Chris Stapleton, or I can't remember who else was up at the time. Was it Lainey Wilson?
Lainey Wilson, yeah.
Like it, and I think that that's where the initial uproar kind of came from. But then it became something more vindictive and something worse than that. And actually, the fact that she did release Texas Hold'em, which is a great song, it is a great song.
Yeah.
People love hearing it and love dancing to it. That opened up country music to so many more people. It's a bit like when I was for 7 years, I was vegetarian. 6 years I was vegetarian, then I was vegan for about 1.5 years. And during that time, I had my own like food like blog. I used to make recipes and stuff like that to try and introduce more people to vegetarian food. But within the like vegetarian and vegan community, I was being told that I was part of the problem. Because, you know, it was like, well, you're part of the problem because you're not turning around to people and saying that you have to stop eating meat or whatever. And I'm like, but I've converted, like, not converted, but I've given people more tools to be able to eat less meat through not being an arsehole, basically, and like pushing my opinions on somebody, than I would be if I was saying to them, why are you doing that? Why are you eating this or what have you? And thank goodness I didn't, because I'm not vegetarian anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'd be then like a massive hypocrite. But I think people need to stop. It is so elitist, and I think it's only in the UK. Because I've spoken to, like, there was a writer, a songwriter and producer that reached out to me that was from Canada, and we had a really lovely chat over the phone. And he was saying that he really struggles with it over here because it is so cliquey and it's so like just almost like small-mindedness, and it's just not like that, like back in
Yeah.
Canada. It's not like that in the US. So it is weird, but I do think that, like, I don't know, maybe it's a UK thing where we just kind of get a little bit precious over, like, oh, I want to be a part of something, and if I'm a part of something, then, you know, you can't be a part of this if you also listen to XYZ artists.
Yeah.
I get nervous saying about stuff like, well, my first like musical inspiration was John Lennon. Like, that's a really incredible first musical inspiration.
Yeah,
of course it's not
absolutely.
country. Like, because
And this is it.
I wasn't raised on country.
And not everybody is, and this is what I was saying, you know, the other day. I was lucky that my granddad was really, really into his country music.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a lot of time with him listening to John Denver on a loop, watching, you know, cowboy films on the TV
Yeah.
when I was really little. And then a bit like you, I found the Spice Girls and Blue and, you know, Steps and S Club 7 and all that stuff. And then
the 90s was great for music.
The 90s was brilliant. And then I went into the noughties to an indie rock chick where, you know, I was, you know, My Chemical Romance, The Killers, Kings of Leon, all that. And when you look at the musical journey, like, not everybody has to be born into a genre to own it or anything. It is a strange mindset that we
the
have.
thing that you just said there, to own it. And I think that's where things have got a little bit weird, is that people have kind of put this like stamp on, this is how you're allowed to dress. I mean, I even saw someone once, I know there's been like a lot of uproar recently where people are kind of saying mean things like, oh, you mustn't wear hats that have got like, that are pink, or that have got like a fur trim or whatever, and kind of making fun out of people like that are just having fun with the fashion. Like, why not? But I remember seeing somebody putting a video out before, kind of being like, no hate, but like, this is how you wear a Stetson. You shouldn't wear it like, you know, slightly raised. You should wear it like kind of like, you know, down like that. And I was like, at first when I kind of watched it, I was like, oh, that's like helpful. But then I started seeing different US country artists from different places in the US, and they wear them differently.
Yeah.
There's no, like, it doesn't matter. Just let people live.
Literally. And it's like such a controlling thing. Like, I stumbled across a video today, and it was like, I was looking for outfit inspiration for C2C, and this woman was like, if you're going to C2C, this is what you should not do. And it was a list of things. Don't wear a jumpsuit because you're going to hold up the toilet queue. Don't wear a pink fluffy cowboy hat because everyone will laugh at you. Don't. And I thought, my God, like, this is wild. Part of me, the rebel in me, is like, I am wearing a pink fluffy cowboy hat regardless. I mean, I've got my accent. But like, when somebody tells me don't do something, best believe I'm going to do it and do it loud. So
people will hate my outfit. It turned up this morning, actually. I've gone with like a t-shirt dress, but it's more of a it almost looks like metal. It almost looks like a heavy metal kind of style top. I'm like, no, I want to always be true to myself. I can wear that and wear it with a cowboy hat and wear it with, you know, a nice pair of boots and stuff like that. But I want my fashion and everything to be me. I don't want it to be a version of like, this is what people are telling me that I can do, because that's what I've had my entire life. And the whole reason why now I've got the confidence to go out there and make my own music is because I finally got to a stage where I'm like, no, I like who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to tell me what to do anymore. So I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, quite right. Absolutely quite right. So the final question before we get into doing a bit of promo for where people can find you. Final question, and we ask everyone this, and we're going to do a little bit of a compilation at the end of everybody, what everyone's response is. Yeah. What is your biggest country music ick?
I knew you was going to say that. So my biggest country music ick, and if I'm something you won't hear me ever sing about, are things that I don't experience. So for me, I do get the slight ick if somebody that hasn't spent their life taking part in rodeos and things like that sing about those sorts of things.
Yep.
I can really maintain that, because I'm not kind of like trying to throw shade on anybody, but that's just my kind of like, I don't feel like you need to sing about country themes for something to be country.
Yeah, it's a story.
That
It's
makes
whatever
sense.
your story
Yeah.
is. And I
Yeah.
think you're right. It comes across inauthentic, doesn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like you can. It's harder to relate to as a listener as well, because you're like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
So a few exciting dates coming up for you in the next couple of weeks. We've got Brunch Club in the UK Brunch Club in Nottingham on the 21st.
Yeah. Nottingham this weekend.
This weekend.
Next
27th Bar Plus in Essex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another UK Brunch Club in Cheltenham on the 28th. Yep. And Bonnie Cravat in Kent on the 28th as well.
Yeah,
Busy for weeks.
We've literally just cancelled that one, actually, which in a way has done me a bit of a favour, because but I basically had to, the original date that I had booked in with them, I had to move. And that was like the earliest, they wanted me in earlier. So I was kind of a little bit stressed about, okay, I've got to get from Cheltenham to Kent, like in what I can do it. It's fine, I can do it. But no, they've cancelled that today. So that's kind of given me a little bit of breathing space. But all of my stuff for this month has all been my Miley Cyrus tribute and Hannah Montana. I mean, because why not?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I'm a almost 40-year-old Hannah Montana, and I'm absolutely living my best life. Someone said to me at the Hannah Montana brunch that I did in Manchester the other week, in the audience, she said, "You have got the coolest job in the world." And I was like, I actually have got the coolest job in the world. I love this. And then I've got loads of other, I've got a lot of tribute stuff coming up this year. It's just weird how that's kind of worked out, actually. Because I didn't have any tribute stuff last year. It was all just country brunches and country evening events and stuff like that. And then this year's just gone mad for kind of like tribute stuff. But I need it, because that's what pays the bills. That's what pays to make music as well, because making music is spenny.
Yes. Yeah.
Really
I can imagine that even the travel around and finding the people and everything else is so expensive. There's nothing cheap these days, is there? There really isn't. Like,
no.
I feel like my granny when I say that. It wasn't that like that in my day. But where can people find you on socials? Where can we follow your journey through music?
So I keep it really simple. Everything is at Nat Hills Music. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. They're the only places that I am. Everything is Nat Hills Music. Find me there. And then you can find my other tribute pages and stuff as well, but that's my main one.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Tanisha's having a bit of technical difficulty, so she has unfortunately to drop off.
You're just like, bye.
Disappeared. I was like, oh, I've got all the questions then. But no, thank you so much for joining, and I can't wait to have you back on when your new single comes out and we can get to hear it and do a bit of promo for that as well. But lovely chatting to you.
Yeah, thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Two Steppers, for joining in with another episode of Choosin Texas podcast. We will be at you next Tuesday night live on Southern Roots from 9 p.m. onwards, and you might also have a few little sneak peeks coming over on our YouTube page soon as well. So take care, guys, and we will see you next week.